is my pleasure to introduce our keynote for today, Sara-Chana Silverstein. She is a master herbalist, clinically trained classic homeopath. She's the best-selling author, and she's going to be talking about this a little bit more. Her book, Moodtopia Tame Your Moods, De-Stress and Find Balance Using Herbal Remedies. She has more than 3 decades of clinical experience and has helped thousands of women and children achieve greater nutritional balance through herbs and integrative clinical approaches. And in this presentation, she's going to share some of those strategies and some simple techniques to help navigate stress, anxiety. And I would also say she has a really vibrant social media following. If you're not following her on Instagram, check her out. A lot of fun stuff shared there. So I will turn it over to you now to share your screen and take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be part of your wonderful women's wellness program. So my name is Sara-Chana, and I have an office in Brooklyn and often practice in Los Angeles, where I've helped over 45,000 women for over 32 years. I'm a lactation consultant with what I began with. I started helping women with breastfeeding issues, studied midwifery, went on and delivered babies. And then what I really found was that women were on these emotional roller coasters, preteens, teens, during their childbearing years. And then I started helping women post-baby and perimenopause and menopause. And I found that since our hormones are shifting all the time and our responsibilities are shifting, we're mothers and we're taking care of our parents and our grandparents, that a lot of times women have trouble maintaining the emotional balance that they really desire. So I always begin by telling women it's completely normal to not feel normal. We don't want this feeling to go on all the time, but women can sit in their car, be late for picking up a friend or late for work, and the traffic is overwhelming, and you can feel out of control. So the good news is that everybody feels this sometimes. And I have women that come into my office and they sit in my office and they go, Sara-Chana, I know I don't even know if you've had a lot of women like this, but I constantly have anxiety, and I'm like, high five, at least you're normal. Thank God. I only want normal people in my office. They're like, what? I said, yes, this is a world of chaos. This is a world of excess information, excess demands, and it really makes them feel fantastic to know that their emotional roller coaster is fine. So when I wrote my book, Moodtopia, what does Moodtopia mean? It's a made-up word, but I want people to understand that I want people to be in control of their moods so their moods don't control them. And everyone can become a master of their moods. It's something to learn. It's a goal to aspire to. And I want women never to be captive to their moods, even if they're going through very difficult challenges. So our goal in our very short period of time is to understand that we need to lower our cortisol levels. So cortisol is a chemical in our body that when it gets high, you feel agitated, you can sweat, you can shake, you can get a dry mouth. High cortisol can really make you not necessarily assess the situation properly. So I know it's very important to lower your cortisol, not in the times of stress. In between, during our calm moments, is the most important time to lower our cortisol levels. So that means when you're having a good day, take a deep breath. So when you're having a difficult day, your brain will have that memory of knowing what it means to breathe. And it's super important to understand that foods we eat, exercise, and we're going to be talking about herbs and aromatherapy that can help keep your cortisol levels lower. So I want to point out here that we don't always want our cortisol levels low. The anticipation of going on a trip, packing. I'm actually traveling to India. And yes, it's 4 weeks from now, but I already started packing. So I'm going to have that surge of adrenaline, which is exciting. Oh my gosh, I got a new pair of shoes. So we love that. I'm not exactly jumping out of airplanes today, but maybe next week. But we love that. There is a wonderful feeling for that cortisol that goes too high. But again, for us, we need to lower the bar. So here's the thing. If your mother was a little stressed when she was pregnant, no guilt here, your default mode will be higher than, let's say, someone that had like a really calm mom. So let's just make up numbers. These are just made up numbers so we understand. So let's say my freak out is 300. So if I'm always living at 250, it's a little too high. The littlest things can trigger my emotional overflow. So I need to push it down, 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 down. But if when your mother was pregnant, she was stressed, your default could be at like 225. And here's the thing, we didn't only live in our mother's stomachs, we also lived in our grandmother's stomachs. Because when our mother was in her mother, she had all the little eggs that were going to turn into her children. So some of us will be naturally more stressed, and others, hopefully it's a lot of you listening, will naturally be calmer. Long-term stress is a problem. It can cause anxiety, depression, digestive problems, headaches, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain, and memory and concentration. So I want to begin before we even get into herbs, and I am a master herbalist, a classically trained homeopath, which means I've done hundreds and thousands of hours of learning. I want to talk about things that are free, completely free, and one of them is called RAC, Random Acts of Kindness. It's one of the easiest things you can do. That means that you just open the door for someone. You offer to help carry if they have heavy bags. You compliment people, which I'm really working on. I never give fake compliments, but sometimes I'll see a woman with like a gorgeous outfit and I love her shoes. And now I go over and say, oh my gosh, you put your outfit together so beautifully. And I have to tell you, the sparkle in their eyes is wonderful. So when you do RAC, Random Acts of Kindness, you don't only help the person that you're talking to lower your cortisol levels, which you do, but studies show that the person that is doing the random acts of kindness, their blood pressure lowers, they feel calmer. So that is an easy, easy thing to do. Just do nice things. One of my teachers taught me that even if you're in a horrible mood and you got in a fight with your partner and you got a flat tire and they lost your clothes at the dry cleaners and everything didn't work that day, the person you're helping doesn't care. All they care is that you help them. So you don't even have to be in a good place to do nice things. So I want to talk about faking it. And I know that we're in a generation where we don't fake it, Sara-Chana. We say what we feel. Yeah, maybe. So if you have a kid that came home from school and got bullied on the bus or had a really hard day, that is not the time for you to be in your mood and expressing your emotions. It could be that you need to fake your smile, pretend like everything's okay, so the other person can emote to you. It doesn't mean we're not going to emote in the right times. We will, but we need to read the scene a little bit. One of my kids, oh, by the way, I'm a mother of 7. I have 5 boys and 2 girls, and boy, those are my biggest teachers in the world. One of my daughters is, Mom, like, can you read the scene? Can you read the room? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. And if one of my kids is going through something, that is not the time for me to express my emotions. Maybe later, maybe I can do it to my partner. Maybe I can do it to my friend. So think about it. Read the room before you decide to express your emotions. So this was an amazing study that I love, love, love. And you can look this up. And what they did was they took college students and they had them rate the humor of comics. So they put a pen, and this is my watch, in the student's mouth, and they faked a smile, and they had to rate the comics. The next time they brought them back was they took their pen and put it in their mouth this way. So it made a frown. And they found across the board that when people, I'm laughing because I'm telling you a story, that when people fake a smile, they feel better and see more humor in the world. And when they have a frown, they tend to see the world more gloomy. So I always joke that if I'm in California and I'm smiling, everyone says, "Oh, Sara-Chana got plastic surgery like me." And in New York, if I smile, people grab their handbag and go, "Oh my God, she's going to steal my purse." No, I'm kidding, but I'm just joking around. But the truth is, when you're not in a good place, just smile. Fake it a little bit and smile. Again, we're going to give you a space and a time to explore and share your emotions, but not all the time. So if you're having a hard day, just sit in the car and curl your lips up and make a smile, because studies have shown that it actually changes the chemical in your brain at that moment. So colors are super important also, and these are all tips that you don't have to spend money. Wearing beautiful colors can make you feel better. We see the vibrations of colors in our eyes, and it can help affect our mood. So if it's a cold, freezing, snowy, wintry day, and everyone's just wearing black and gray, you can get a vibrant yellow scarf. And when you look in the mirror, you're actually going to feel better, and also those around you. If you work in a little cubicle, you could literally take a piece of construction paper and change the color every day, because color can change and influence our moods in a wonderful way. So I'm a master herbalist. That means that I have undergraduate degrees, graduate degrees. I did a 5-year classical homeopathic program, a 3-year herbal apprentice program with over 2,500 clinical hours, meaning I didn't just do a weekend course. I studied botanical plant-based medicine, Ayurvedic, Chinese, Western, Japanese, and herbs are fantastic. And they are becoming the rage again. We have an over 5,000-year history of botanical plant-based medicine. And the last statistic I looked up, and it changes all the time, is at least 75% of the world uses plant-based medicine. And in this past year, I had the honor to go study in Japan and India, and they literally use their herbs and their medicinal mushrooms like I wish we all did. It's just second nature. So, WHO, which is the World Health Organization, this is an older study, said that it is an $83 billion business. You all can look that up and see what the statistics are today. So, you can use herbs in many different ways. You can use herbs in tea form, and I have this cute little tea infuser. This is my filter. This is my glass. And you would take the herbs and pour them into the filter, pour boiling water over it, although some herbs do best in cold water. You can add honey, you can add maple syrup, and drink this throughout the day. In America, we tend to be more coffee drinkers than tea drinkers, but around the world, in Japan, they have the Japanese tea ceremony. And in India, they serve you tea in these little teeny cups. And they're wonderful, because when you're done with the cup, they're not made out of paper. They're made out of what pots are made out of. You drink the tea, you smash it into the ground, you step on it, and it recomposts the land. But I find that my Americans don't drink tea as much as around the world. You can also make tea in infusions if people have Crohn's or IBS or very chronic symptoms. We will take the herbs and let them sit overnight in this deep infusion. This you can let sit for 15 to 20 minutes. This is an overnight tea. I tend to prefer herbs in tincture form. Tincture form is when you take an herb, this is my elderberry, and you can put grain alcohol or a glycerite over it. You let it sit for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the herb and you have. an herbal tincture. The reason I like herbal tinctures best is because most of my clients are on the run, type A personalities, trying to do 500 things at the same time, and this is quick and easy. And you pick up the dropper, you shoot it in a shot glass, pour a little grape juice or water, and down it very quickly. I love this because you can get the medicinal properties of the plant very, very quickly. We also have herbs in what is called gemotherapy. That's when we take the bud of the plant. I always joke women can carry it with them anywhere they want and nobody sees it. You can put it in your backpack. And with an herb like this, you don't need to dilute it. You can put just 3 drops under your tongue. So if you're a tea drinker, you can explore the world of tea. There are fantastic herbs out there. If you are on the go, let's think about a tincture. So this is how you make the tincture. You don't have to make it. It's on the market. And most of the companies I work with they check for pesticides. They make sure that the genus is correct, that it's the correct plant. The labs and the plants themselves have the FDA in there all the time. So I want to let you know that there are companies that you can completely trust that I really have been using for over 32 years. So when you make a tincture, you take the herb. That is red clover, which is actually blooming right now on the East Coast. We have white clover and we have red clover. The red clover tends to be more medicinal. Pour grain alcohol over it. We're going to strain it. There we go. And we have a tincture. So here's the question. Why aren't there more clinical studies on herbs? Who's going to make money? And really, clinical studies, double-blind studies are so expensive that I can teach you how to grow lemon balm, catnip right on your porch, right in your backyard. So there's just not as many clinical studies out there, but you can find many. So if you want to research that, it is out there. And if you want to finance one of them, get in touch with me and we can do a fantastic study. Okay. So let's jump into herbs that I find work for women and men. And I want to say that I've been talking about women's health, but as a mother of 5 boys, I see the boys get a little moody also. Being married for over 36 years, I see that men really, is it 38 years? I think it's 38 years, get moody also. So motherwort, one of my favorite herbs on the planet. It's used for hormonal gloominess. Women can use it before their cycle, during their cycle, and after their cycle. Preteens can use it before they get their cycle. And perimenopause women are still hormonal. They're still going up and down with their emotions. So if you're having a good day and everything's fine, and all of a sudden you see that black cloud descending, and you're like, no, no, black cloud, do not come to me. You can take some motherwort. It will help push away the darkness. If you're going through something that's stressful and you rightfully should be moody, are allowed to be moody, this will just help you not get side effects like ulcers and diarrhea or constipation. So motherwort, one of my favorites. Now, skullcap is in the mint family. Love, love, love skullcap. It's for nervous anxiety. It's for tension. It's like you have to do public speaking at work, or you're going on a date, or you're married for 50 years and you're going on a date and you're also nervous because you want it to go well. If it's a birthday party, daughter-in-laws, mother-in-laws, anytime you're a little agitated, skullcap can take the butterflies in your stomach away. So the most important question is, can you mix motherwort and skullcap? You bet you can. So when I make herbs for people, I use anywhere from 4 to 8 herbs. I like to teach them individually, but we know that herbs, when you mix them together, have a great symbiotic relationship. It's like a jazz band. Like the saxophone's great, the keyboard's great, but when you mix them all together, it gets dynamic. The same thing with herbs. So skullcap, anxiety, stress, agitation, and motherwort gloominess. So lemon balm, which I mentioned earlier, also in the mint family. It is calming and soothing. We use this with kids. I just wrote a book called Moodtopia for Kids, and it's all about kids and moods. By the way, kids can get moody. I'm not sure if you've noticed. And lemon balm is one of those amazing, amazing herbs. It's antiviral. So if kids are at camp or at school, they can bring viruses home. It's calming and soothing. This is an herb that tastes delicious and it can be made into ice pops. It also helps with fevers or if you're traveling. So for fevers, you can make the kids lemon balm ice pops. You can give it to adults too. You can make lemon balm ice cubes and put it in their thermos for camp. And if you're traveling, you can give lemon balm to everybody. So skull caps, I don't want to say stronger, it just takes the edge off a little bit more, but you could mix motherwort, lemon balm, and skull cap. So hops, they used to make hops pillows to help with sleep. They use it in beer and it can help you go to sleep. So if you're traveling, you can carry with you a little bottle of hops and you can just find a little shot glass or a paper cup and take some. If you want to work on your sleep, I don't suggest taking the hops at 1:15 a.m. when you wanted to go to bed at 11 and you have to be up at 6. So if you have trouble sleeping, we usually take the sleeping herbs around dinner time and then an hour before you want to go to sleep. And you can keep a little glass right by your bed if you wake up in the middle of the night. Hops is non-addicting, but calming and soothing. Now, linden, if any of you out there have ever smelt a linden flower, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And on the East Coast, it is blooming now. Linden has been used for generations to help with agitation that affects your stomach. If you have a heavy meal, you have a delicious meal that's got way too much cheese and too many sauces, you can drink a tea of linden, a calming linden tea, or you can take the tincture. It also helps with heart palpitations. So if you're the type of person or you have a loved one who, when they get anxious, they get a stomach ache and they get heart palpitations, that's linden. Can you mix linden with skullcap, lemon balm, and motherwort? Of course you can. Valerian, there's more clinical studies on valerian than any herb I have seen. Valerian is a wonderful herb, non-addictive, and can really help with agitation and nervousness and panic. Now, I will say with valerian that some people get more agitated and some people feel the calm. So none of the other herbs kind of have this dual reaction in some people, but I mentioned that with valerian. It's the herb that was used to make Valium, but valerian is non-addictive. But for my clients that need valerian and do well with it, it's fantastic. It's used to help with sleep, but you can take it during the day and it will not make you sleepy. You can mix valerian with hops and it's a wonderful combination. Fresh milky oats is a wonderful, wonderful plant for long-term stress. I know nobody here feels burnt out, but for those of us that do, fresh milky oats can repair the central nervous system. If you've been going through, God forbid, a divorce, or you lost your job, or you're having trouble with a child, or your neighbor never takes their trash can in, whatever it is that's causing long-term stress, fresh milky oats is a wonderful option for you. You won't feel it as quickly as the other herbs, valerian, skullcap, motherwort, lemon balm, you'll feel within 20 minutes. This takes longer. It's reparative, it's restorative. So we often add this to blends because it helps over a longer period of time after pregnancies and also during menopause and perimenopause. Now, passion flower, look at that flower. It looks like if you don't believe in aliens, look at a passion flower and then you have to rethink it. Because this flower does not look like it's from planet Earth, but it is. Gorgeous flower, comes in beautiful, beautiful colors. And passion flower can really help that insomnia. Can you mix it with the lemon balm? Can you mix it with the hops? Yes, you can. What I like about passion flower is it helps with those recurrent thoughts. You know, those cycling thoughts where you're like thinking of your day and thinking of your day and why did I do that? And why did I say the wrong thing and I shouldn't have done? That's what passion flower helps with. Again, with any sleep herbs, take it dinner time if you can, an hour before you go to bed, if you can, and before you go to sleep, or when you wake up in the middle of the night. And again, if you're out and about and you didn't take your passion flower and you're out and you were having fun and you were dancing in a club and you came home and you needed to try to go to sleep, you could definitely take passion flower right before you go to sleep. Now, rhodiola is another herb like valerian that has lots of clinical studies, lots and lots. Rhodiola has been used for depression with much success. Rhodiola is a bit of a stimulant. So if you're not someone that does well with coffee and caffeine, this is not the plant for you. But if you're someone that loves coffee and really wants that boost of energy, or you're going through a depression and you feel like a couch potato, rhodiola can really, really help give you that boost emotionally and physically. And remember, when we're talking about depression, there are people that are depressed and can never sleep. They have insomnia. There are people that are depressed and they sleep all the time. There are people that are depressed and they can't eat. They have no appetite. You have people that are depressed and they overeat. You have people that are depressed and they yell and scream. You have people that are depressed and they don't say a word. So as an herbalist, when people come in and they give me the label, I'm depressed, I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's like when you say you're sensory, what does that mean? Like, I want details, details, details. So if you have a sadness or you need that burst, rhodiola is the plant for you. Cactus grandiflorus is really for that agitation with heart palpitations. We spoke about that with Linden. This I like even better. And I have some young women, and you'd say, well, why do you have to worry about their heart? They're in their 20s. Because every time they get nervous, before work, after work, during work, before a date, during a date, after a date, they feel like their heart is going to pop out of their bodies. Cactus grandiflorus can calm that down. It is a superior herb. Want to jump into rose? And I know this is a lot of information in a very short period of time. I'm trying to show you the diversity of these herbs, that herbs mixed together work beautifully, but I want to share with you that they each have their individual use and their individual purpose in this world, is what I feel. So rose is for a broken heart. Like I had a client that came in and said, okay, so when I was 8 years old, and whenever I look at that picture, I have trouble recovering. Sara-Chana, she was in her 50s. When I was 8 years old, my mother, I know it's going to be hard to hear, cut me bangs, and I'm really trying to let go of it. But she was serious. It broke her heart. She was heartbroken that her mother would cut her bangs. Now, of course, I'm being very dramatic. You all know that I am dramatic, as you can see, but people have that. People can definitely have a broken heart from many, many things. A breakup when they were in their teens, a marriage that failed, or a job they knew they were perfect for that they got fired from. So roses really help with a broken heart. They do help with circulation. And you know, at hospitals, that's the number one plant, because when you give someone flowers, it actually brings joy to their heart. But when you drink rose tea, and I especially love to use this with caregivers, because we have a lot of people in that sandwich generation where they're taking care of kids, they're taking care of their parents, and they are smashed in the middle, and the responsibility is just way too much stress. So rose, love it. All rose petals are edible. I wouldn't eat them or drink them from florists, but if you're ever caught in the woods and didn't have anything, you could eat rose petals high in vitamin C and make them into a tea. So lavender is stuck emotions, a little bit like that story of the woman with the bangs, but it's also a person that can't move forward because they get stuck in this grief. So lavender, we know of lavender oil in essential oil, but we're not talking about that at this moment. We're talking about the lavender in tea or tincture form. It's not sedating, and it helps move that brick wall that is blocking your next move. So, do I mix lavender and rose together all the time? Broken heart, feeling stuck on an emotion or an experience. Love these herbs. They're kind of the dynamic duo. I think we need to make a cartoon on rose and lavender, the dynamic duo. So let's jump quickly to aromatherapy. So herbs are when you take the plant. Here, where do I have more? Here's the plant, here's a berry, here's a flower. I have some more somewhere. Oh, here it is. Here's my rose petals. Here's my rose petals. And you can drink them in tea form, you can make them into a tincture, and I love it. When you take aromatherapy, it should not be taken internally. It is not created, it is so dense and it is so impacted with all the nutrients of the flowers or the plant that it can actually burn the esophagus and it can give you an ulcer. So aromatherapy is for the olfactory system. Breathe it in. So it's quite complicated to make an essential oil. It's not something you can do at home like you can a tincture or a tea. And there's so many ways to use essential oils. So before we jump in, I want to share with you that you're going to see a lot of claims online that essential oils can save lives, cure diseases. And as an herbalist for over 32 years, I don't believe that essential oils have that power. But I want to tell you that it did save someone's life. And here's the story. I was speaking at a medical conference and I was the keynote speaker, having to be in Detroit at 7 a.m., coming from New York. So I'm at the airport, and to make a very long story short, there's electricity, there's a lightning storm going on. I'm waiting an hour, I'm waiting 2 hours, I'm waiting 5 hours, and everybody's panicking in the airport. And I'm like, I don't know, I just need to be in Detroit at 7 a.m. Like, I'm not going to lose it because I'm trying to keep my cortisol levels low. So time is passing and passing, and it was finally like 3 in the morning, and they had a flight to Detroit, and it was packed. And I get on the plane, and I am so tired and so sleep deprived. And there was a guy sitting next to me who forgot to take a shower. And his body odor was so bad. I was terrified of being on that flight. So I went over to the stewardess. I said, I don't want to be mean, but this guy, I can't smell him. She said, then you have to get off the plane. There are no more flights available. So here's the story. I happen to have had an essential oil in my bag. I always carry one with me. I put a couple drops on a tissue and watch. I breathed it in for the whole 2.5 hour flight. And guess what? I didn't kill the guy next to me. He is still alive from an essential oil. So if you have a story like that, you can say that essential oils save lives. but they are just a part of your protocol. They are not necessarily your biggest tool in your tool chest. So we have oils that stimulate orange, lime, lemon, tangerine, grapefruit. And one of the things I suggest is that you can have a diffuser in your bedroom. You can have it on a timer. If you have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, have a wonderful orange or tangerine filling the room. You can keep it with water overnight, and that's a great way to wake yourself up in the morning. If you're sitting for an exam, you can also breathe in on a tissue, a stimulating herb. There are oils that warm you in the winter: ginger, rosemary, cinnamon. You can breathe them in, or you can put a couple drops in a foot bath. Will heat up your whole body. Wonderful. Oils that calm. We have lavender. Clinical studies show that when they waft lavender essential oil in geriatric homes, that the patients sleep better. Rose, here we go, relieves anxiety, depression, calming. Vetiver, it's this earthy smell, and ylang ylang, beautiful. These are herbs that, oils that calm. So we don't take them in our bodies. You can dilute them in a little bit of lotion. You can rub it into your hands, or what I love best is I keep a little tissue in my pocket and I just pull this out and breathe it in. And I have to tell you, my kids and grandkids love it. When they're having a tantrum, I'm like, you need to smell this. They're like, no. And they go, ah, love it. Oils for memory, especially as we age, we definitely go, oh my gosh, where did I put my keys and my shoes? And where was I going? It's normal. There's so many tools for that. And I do speak about that in my book, Moodtopia. But one of the oils I love best is rosemary. And you can breathe it in the morning. And you can breathe it in the afternoon, and it will help increase blood flow to your area, to your brain, all over your body. And sage, I love because it can calm if you're in perimenopause and menopause, and it can also help with that memory. Oils, if you want to feel a little more attractive, you want to attract someone else, you want to feel good: bergamot, lang lang, sandalwood, neroli, rose, jasmine, patchouli. These are oils that have been used in straight essential oils or incense. And it's so interesting because now that I'm traveling the world and I'm on my way to Bhutan, different areas have different incenses with different plant smells. It's just amazing. But you can have this in a diffuser in your room. They say that it can help with intimacy. You can put a couple drops diluted with a little bit of lotion, and this is also great. So here's our summary, and then we're going to open up for questions, I believe. I want people to work on lowering their cortisol levels when they're in their calm times. You know, I used to joke when we had ATM machines, I'd have clients that said, Sara-Chana, I cannot meditate. I can't do deep breathing. I'm just too neurotic and too overwhelmed. I was like, here's the story. When you put your ATM in the machine, you inhale. When you pull out the ATM, you exhale. You just did it. Same thing at a red light. You get to a red light, green, you push it out and go. So we're working on our cortisol levels, doing exercise, doing yoga in our good times, so that when we get to our more nervous times, we're not as nervous. Do random acts of kindness. My goodness, it really changes a lot of my clients' life. You know, I had a client who was very, very, very rich. We should all be very, very, very rich. And she had a lot of kids, but she had a lot of cleaning help. And she was always getting depressed. And it turned out that I said, until you do charity work, there's like no way, you can't come back to me. She said, what? It turned out that she made home cooked meals for people whose children were in the hospital, for the parents. And she came in, she goes, you know, Sara-Chana, I'm not depressed when I'm cooking. I'm like, I know. And I'm not depressed when I drop it off. I said, I know. So charity, random acts of kindness, even if we don't have time to do it anyways. Find time to do nice things. learn to fake it. Now, I don't want you to be anal retentive. I don't want you getting an ulcer, but read the scene. It may not be the time for your partner to hear you unload. It may be that if you hold back and fake it for an hour, you're going to get a lot more attention an hour or an hour and a half from now. Remember to smile. Just fake your smile because it does change the chemistry of your brain. And we didn't even talk about laughing, but when you laugh, your diaphragm does an internal massage. So I personally love getting massages, my feet, my hands, my head. But how do you massage your internal organs? By laughing. And laughing really helps lower that cortisol. Add colors to your life. Why not? I'm wearing this blue shirt. Sometimes I'll put on a pretty nail polish color just to get those colors around me. Use herbs. I'm an herbalist. I am a fan of herbal medicine. The herbs are here, and I take people on plant walks through dirty Brooklyn. Don't be shocked. I know foraging is starting to become famous now, popular. I show them under a rusty car that there's medicinal plants. Through the cracks of the concrete, there are plants, and these plants are here to heal us no matter where we live. So, a homework is to look on your phone edible plants that grow around me. Now, I'm not saying you should go out there and eat them, but you will be surprised, especially now. So many flowers that are growing are edible. Oh my goodness, and healing and smell nice things. Again, I have different essential oils. You only have to find one blend that you love. You don't have to have tons of them. And when I'm out and about and I'm caught in traffic, I just inhale and I feel better. So thank you so much for spending time with my presentation. Thank you so much for the organizers. I know it takes so much time to organize this, and I'm grateful and honored to be part of this wonderful wellness.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And if you want to go, I think you have a slide that has your contact information in the book too, if you want to show that and put that
Yes.
up. People
Yes,
will.
thank you. Fall in love with herbs and they will love you back. This is my new book, Moodtopia for Kids, that was just launched and is on the market. And there we go. Exactly. That's my first book, Moodtopia. Thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, we got to show that. And like I said, I love your Instagram. Maybe there'll be a video of checking out all the herbs and under the cars in Brooklyn. That would be a fun one.
There
Um,
are on my Instagram at Sara-Chana S. I do have those videos.
uh,
Exactly.
Nice. So we were asked about, you had a slide up about it was the herbs that warm. If maybe you could just touch on that. I don't know if you could pull it back up, but somebody wanted to a little more information on herbs that warm.
I can. So these were essential oils that warm. So I will tell you in tea form, these also warm. So a ginger tea, especially in the winter when it's cold, actually increases circulation. So in the winter months, we tend to sit more. We're not outside as much. So ginger is wonderful and warming. Since we're going back to this slide again, I was talking about essential oils, but rosemary tea can help increase blood flow to your brain and help with memory. And one of my teachers said, if you can only get a person to take one herb a day, have them take rosemary and tincture to help with their mind and circulation. And cinnamon is surprisingly wonderful. Cinnamon in capsules, I take when I travel. I'm on my way to Bhutan and India. If you get any indigestion, cinnamon in capsules can help actually kill different viruses, and it warms the body. So these oils I would dilute and rub on the body or in a foot bath, but you can take them in tea form also.
Excellent. I think the one before that was stimulating too. We got asked about that too.
Okay, let's go
But
back.
these slides will be available on demand too, so everybody you can dive in more.
So, this is not a lecture on sexuality and intimacy, but women, again, go like this and like this and like this and like this. Our moods are all over the place. And what happens is if we're not in that place, breathing in these essential oils can definitely help you get in the mood that you want to get into. Also, the scents, if you or your partner love them, you can dilute them in a little bit of oil and give your partner a foot massage or a back massage, which is calming, lowers the cortisol, and then they have these beautiful smells with them also.
Excellent. So we just have in last minute, I just wanted to ask, so you covered so many great herbs, actionable strategies, love it. Is there anything that you really see on the horizon for women's wellness that we might want to look out for? I know Shatavari is kind of the herb of the moment for sure. We're hearing all about it at our trade shows. Anything on the horizon you can kind of clue us into that we should be raising our awareness of?
I love Shatavari. That's the Ayurvedic herb. Our similar herb to it is nettles in America, and it's got so many trace, excuse me, vitamins and minerals and nutrients. I mean, my goal, what I would love to see on the horizon, and that's really why I wrote Moodtopia for Kids, is that we would start using herbs before pharmaceuticals for our emotional challenges. So we have a child or an adult with ADD, ADHD. I would love people to know that there are herbs available to them. If any of your listeners are on pharmaceuticals and they're working, great. But so many people get all the side effects. So I would love on the horizon to be that herbs are talked about for emotional health before we just jump to pharmaceuticals.
Excellent. All right. Well, Sara-Chana, thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. Just such great energy to start our day. And you're powering us through with a smile. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Maggie, and team behind you. I'm grateful and you're doing a wonderful, wonderful event here.
Thank you. All right. And Len, I'll turn it over to you.